Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your Moonlight Kingdom Reviews, and we are reviewing Rebel Moon Part 2. Oh, yeah. I saw this back on July 24th in 2024. So I had this review saved for quite a while. I just never really got around to it, but now I'm going to get around to it right here and now. 3, 2, 1. The first movie was like Magnificent Seven meets 47 Ronin in space. Yeah, the heroes include Zack Snyder's Luke Skywalker, Korra, Zack Snyder's Ruby Rose, Milius, Zack Snyder's Han Solo, and Zack Snyder's Tarzan, which is Tarak. I forgot who the Han Solo's guy is supposed to be. He's the guy that Korra shacks up with. I don't remember his freaking name. So Zack Snyder's Tarzan is Tarak, Somni from Cloud Atlas, who's Nemesis, and djimonhounsou, who's General Titus. Yeah, he's not Zack Snyder's anything. He's just djimonhounsou, really. He's sort of just, I don't know. I'm not dissing the man's range. I'm just like, he's playing a character. You could say this is the character from The Island. You could say he's like the character from Blood Diamond if he went into space. It's like, I'm not saying all the characters he plays are the same. I'm saying he's playing the character in this movie is a lot like other characters that he's played. It's weird that he's been asked to act, but anyway, getting right into the movie, some of the dialogue here contradicts what's happening on camera. As when Korra and the magnificent pals she's brought with her, they show up in the village. She says the people are nervous and are distrustful of strangers, but they all seem very chill when the heroes arrive, and they're willing to work with them after. Titus tells them how they can all work together to farm the grain they need in 3 days, and they all seem pretty on board with it. So the movie just straight up lies to you in that regard. But anyway, Korra gives us her backstory in that she's being hunted by the Empire and explains that she was the princess's bodyguard. And Belisarius, the man who's now running the show, wanted her to kill the princess as part of a Julius Caesar type overthrow of the king. All because the king didn't want to be a conqueror anymore, and he wanted to put an end to his warmongering ways. So Korra immediately regrets this. I mean, she hesitates at first because she's come to care for the little princess, but she does it anyway out of loyalty to her father and because he promised he would protect her. But she immediately regrets that as Belisarius frames her for the death of the whole royal family whilst he rises to power. She has a moment in this where she breaks free of this frame up and could have very easily taken him out, but for some reason just chose not to, even though he just betrayed her like seconds ago, just betrayed her and set her up to become what is ostensibly the most hated person in the whole universe and kill someone she cared about. But, she has a perfect chance to blow his head off his shoulders, and she's like, no. She runs. I can't do it. Like, whoa. It's ridiculous. Anyway, end of flashback. Back to the present day. The townspeople wake up the next day, and they head out early to farm the grain. Their grain, because after all, that's what all this is about. Dune had the spice. Star Wars had the galaxy. The Rebel Moon got the green. Yeah, that nice weedy green. That's what they're farming in this land. That's what they're farming on this rock. They got spaceships, they got lasers, they got robots, but when it comes down to it, they still need the true blue human workers to farm their grain. The grain. 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 Anyway, moving away from that. Oh, shit. I forgot where I was. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, it's damn green. Yes, I was talking about green. Yes. So, I'm watching people farm while the Spirits theme from Brother Bear plays in the background. And it sounds pretty much like the spirit. The great spirits of all who lived before. Yeah. Like that one, was it Tina Turner? Yeah, I think that's it. It's not that song, but it's music just like that. It starts playing in the background while they're farming. Man, they farm. They farm the hell out of this field. Holy soap. So much farming, so much hacking and carrying, and then slow-mo marching with hay and wheat. It's just straight up goes for 2 minutes and turns into what can only be described as wheat porn. I was half expecting it to stop halfway through and say, and the Wheat Pix tune to start playing, or the Odie's theme, or whatever, like it just, it turned into an ad for weeds. This could easily have been a Wheat Pix commercial. Man, damn, we sit through 2 minutes of wheat porn. Like, man, uh, there's a scene here in this film where that people all over social media and the internet have used as an example of how Zack Snyder has gone overboard with slow mo. You really wanted to see where he went overboard with slow mo. There was a scene in the first movie that exemplified that, but you didn't see that because you didn't really pay attention. You didn't have to pay attention that hard to find it, but still, there was a scene there that showed like, okay, man, maybe you've gone too far with slow mo in that one. But I'll cover that when I cover the first movie. Anyway, so this scene shows, apparently, in the eyes of everybody else, this is how we have officially agreed, apparently, that Zack Snyder's gone overboard with the slow mo. It's a scene where Titus is filling his flask with water. People on social media were losing their shit like, dude is filling his flask in slow motion. This does not need to be in slow motion. Slow motion doesn't make everything epic. And those people are missing the point. This is supposed to be used as a moment. See, a dude fills his flask. It's not supposed to make this epic. It's to make a note of the fact that he's chosen to give up alcohol and replace it with water instead. It's endless storytelling. He's giving up this bad habit that helps him cope with his troubled past and replacing it with this life-sustaining liquid. See, that's what the movie's trying to tell you. It wants you to know that him just filling up his flask isn't just him filling up his flask. It means something. Well, I do agree that the moment doesn't need to be in fucking slow motion. You can have it move a little bit. You can like slow the film down a little bit to show that he's filling up the flask. But though, I don't need to see him fill up the flask in real time happening in slow motion. It's too long. It's like, yeah, I get it. You want us to make a note of this moment, that this is something important, and you even mention it later. It's like, yeah, he's been filling up his flask with water instead of alcohol. He didn't want anyone to notice because he didn't want anyone to think he cared. It's like, oh, Titus, that's awesome, man. You've shaken the habit. That's cool. And that's great and all, but it doesn't need to be lingered on that damn long. The problem isn't that he uses slow motion. It's that he uses too much slow motion. The slow-mo sequence goes too long. Yeah, you can slow-mo sequence of dude filling up his water flask to show like, hey, take a note of this. This means something. But it doesn't need to be as long as it was. Moving beyond that, they've done all the farming they've needed to do. And there's a small celebration amongst the villagers, and they thank all the heroes by giving them this fabric that's emblazoned with an emblem befitting of their character, which leads to some great action from Somni. She's so emotionally overwhelmed by this outpouring of love and adoration from these people. Oh, some great acting, sorry. Some great acting. She's, overwhelmed by all this, and there's this moment afterwards where djimonhounsou gets to show off his surprisingly good singing ability, man. All the while, Robo Anthony Hopkins watches on from a hill with antlers on. We don't get an explanation for where the hell he got antlers, why he's just watching from the background. Anyway, story goes on the next day afterwards. This film goes full Magnificent Seven now as the townspeople, after farming all the wheat, after they get to their partying and celebrating, thanking the heroes for coming, it's full Magnificent Seven, but it's also a little bit of a Bug's Life. If you've seen A Bug's Life, I'm telling you, watch A Bug's Life and then watch this movie. You'll be like, hey, wait a minute. Because it be similar, But anyway, moving away from that. So the townspeople, along with the heroes, begin to set up defenses around the town, and they train in hand-to-hand weaponry as well as using guns to prepare for the coming assault. The bad guys now know that all their men are dead, that they sent their, because they radio the base to find out, like, okay, hey, how's it going? Is everything going on schedule? And the guy who's turned coat, who's like turned on them, to side with the villagers, he's like, everything's fine, things are going ahead of schedule, no need to worry. And that's how they know, like, yeah, all our people are dead. Because This dude said everything is fine, no need to worry, but I haven't seen any of his commanders or any other soldiers anywhere near him, and he keeps saying everything's chill. And like there have been no hiccups or anything whatsoever. Sounds like bullshit. So yeah, the bad guys immediately know like, yep, everyone we sent there is dead, and we're walking, straight towards, you know, uh, hostile environment. Yeah. So right before the day of the battle, before the bad guys are set to arrive, the heroes have this little confession moment between all of them, where Titus tells of how one time he went against the Mother World, and him and his men got, it was because this classic, we were ordered to do something we didn't want to do, and we rebelled. And not wanting to see his men die, he offered his surrender in place of their lives, but the Empire murdered his men right in front of him. That day on, he swore he would never surrender, and that he'd fight to the death if needs be. So this movie, for all it's got going on and all it doesn't have going on, serves as a great reminder that djimonhounsou can act like crazy, man. His face is tearing up while he's giving this performance. He's conveying the sadness, the rage, and like the conviction. You hear the conviction in his voice, and you see it in his facial expressions as he's recanting the story. And even afterwards, you see like, yeah, the story is over, but it still lingers in his head. Like everything he said just echoes on in his memories. And then right after, Milius speaks up saying, I've never gone into battle, but I grew up in a place like this. And the camera cuts back to Titus. He got this look on his face like, bitch, are you for real? I bare my soul like that, and you're just going shit can my story with some shit like, are you kidding me? He just look at his eyes like, are you fucking serious? Like, uh, I don't know. Hey, that's probably not what he was going for. But it comes across like that because they cut back to him. They show him being like, I've never gone into battle, but I grew up in a place like this. Then it cuts back to him and he looks mad. Like, I just had a moment here. And you go shit can like, well, I never went into battle, but I grew up in a place like this. It's like, what the fuck? This shit can, this story. And so she starts telling her story. So Nemesis, in her backstory, pulls some Captain Knuckles stuff. I mean, no, that was not Nemesis. Yeah, Nemesis is Somni's character, the Asian chick with the badass laser swords. She pulls some Captain Knuckles type business here. So the reason she has two robot hands is because after the Mother World destroyed her village, she used her laser sword to cut off her hand. Like when Knuckles made himself a wooden hand to replace his missing one, and then realized that he made a hand for the wrong hand and decided to cut that one off too. Good God, man. I don't know. I don't know. I guess you need robot hands to wield the laser swords. Like, but I mean, that's not the case because we see Korra and Noble wielding the laser swords later in the movie. So it's like, what do you do this for? Why can't you use your real hands? Like, why'd you lob off both your hands to put on metal hands? And now man, there's nothing in any of her fighting or skill that explains why you have metal hands now. Like, whatever. Anyway, so we get everybody's backstory. Tarzan tells the story. It's like, yeah, I came from a rich family, and then the Mother World showed up, and they flatlined everybody. Milius tells her story. Yeah, I was working in the mines. The Mother World showed up. They flatlined everybody, and my life turned to shit. It's just this thing of like, we all had. It's basically the opening of Avatar. Long ago, the many regions lived in harmony. Everything changed when the Mother World attacked. That's basically what it is, man. If main characters even named Korra, come on. Woo. So the next day, morning, and they've set up the traps. They got their own ship. They've dug all these tunnels. Admiral Noble offers Korra a deal to spare everyone in the village if he turns herself over to him, and she actually accepted. I was watching this, and I was thinking to myself, lady, were you not listening when Titus said that he got like the exact same deal and they killed all his people anyway? Did you really think they just let you slide after all the shit that you did? Did you really think Noble would let you slide after you killed him? You don't think he wants revenge? The fuck, lady? Like, are you... No, I know. I know I always say, just once, I would like the hero to take the deal. Not like this. This isn't what I meant. I don't mean a clearly bad deal that's gonna screw you over in the end. I mean like just once when like the evil character is offering the hero money and power and success. Just once I would like them to be like, yeah, I'm in. But this is not that kind of deal. This is turn yourself in and no harm will come to the people you care about. That never happens. The bad guy always changes their freaking mind. Damn, how are you falling for this, lady? What the? Fuck it. It just made me mad. It made me mad watching this crap. She really is. Not screw it. So the fight kicks off when the guy she banging, I don't know his name, okay? Zack Snyder's Han Solo starts blasting people. It's basically a Danny DeVito meme of, and then I started blasting. Like, so yeah, that's what happened. So they started blasting, the fight kicks off, and unfortunately, for all the great action in here with the blasters and the ships being blown up like something straight out of Dune, we do get some more unnecessary slow-mo. Not only that, but we get slow-mo within slow-mo. When Nemesis is fighting these soldiers, there was this one egregious scene. There was so much slow-mo, I had to watch it at 1.5 times speed, and it was still moving slowly. Like, ugh. All that to one side, man. I like the action of the troops on the ground fighting with the lasers, as well as them fighting the villagers fighting them with the melee weapons in town. And they used the tunnels they dug as this giant trap to blow up the soldiers in the tunnels, and the soldiers above them, Korra and Discount Han go on board the dreadnought disguised as troops piloting the ship. All the while Korra flew in to blow up the dreadnought from the inside. The fight between Korra and Noble in the ship with their laser swords kind of reminded me of Devil May Cry in some places. There's this machine in the middle. It looks like a giant person. It's apparently fueling everything. It like opens its eyes and locks eyes with Korra, and she has this moment where she's like touching its face, and like she blows it up, which kills the power of the thing. And the ship is falling out of space, and these two, Korra and Noble, are fighting in like the hangar where all the spaceships are while the ship is falling, so the gravity is affecting all of them. It's cool, very nice, very Inception with a dash of Star Wars. So yeah, the music when the rebel ships swoop in and they destroy the remaining Empire troops feels straight out of Justice League, which makes sense given it's done by Tom Hokenborg, aka Junkie XL. Oh, I'm sorry, FKA Junkie XL. So yeah, in the end, they saved the day. There was one moment where it seemed like, oh no, all hope is lost. We're totally outnumbered. And then out of nowhere, the rebels from the first movie show up and they blast everybody. They saved the day. Woo! The Mother World ship is going down. Noble's going down. The day is saved, but oh no, Zack Snyder's Han Solo dies, and Korra is very sad about it. And I remember watching this and thinking, I don't feel anything for this dude. Yeah, it's a bummer he died, but I don't feel anything for him. He's responsible for killing he didn't kill the dude, but he's responsible for dude's death in the first movie. That death was 100% his fault. God gracious, man. Everyone is telling you, don't deal with the fucking space Nazis. Don't make a deal with the space Nazis. It will end badly. Everyone's saying that, and this guy's like, we can make a deal here. Like, bruh, I know greed can overcome reason, but greed shouldn't overcome common sense. Like, what the heck, man? Whatever. Moving on from that, man. It was a bummer. So they hold a funeral for the dude, and like she finally comes clean. Like I am at the last. The mother world. They were coming to get me. I'm the person who was framed for killing the princess. And then Robo Anthony Hopkins. Oh, let me back up here. Robo Anthony Hopkins, freaking Jimmy Robot, the annoying ass Jimmy Robot who waited until halfway through the freaking battle to make the save. Like, he is immune to blaster fire, like laser fire. He could have helped out any point at the beginning. He could have saved so many lives, but he shows up halfway through the battle to fight these people and like help out here with his freaking cape and his antlers and all that crap. It's like, what the heck did you get? Where'd you get all this stuff? What the hell are you wearing? Why do you only choose now to chime in? Where the hell have you been? Like, I didn't like all the material. The posters, the trailers, everything hyped this guy up like he was gonna be something, like he was gonna make a big impact in the story, but no. He has all the impact of a C3PO until the last, like, what, 20 minutes, where now we need him to be a ass kicking badass to make the last minute save. Ah, man, whatever, man. It was infuriating watching that shit. It was damn near infuriating. Anywho, moving away from that, so Jimmy Robot tells Cora that you thought it'd be that easy to take out the princess? She's still out there somewhere. It's like, oh, sequel. Well, at least you waited till the very end. I mean, it's the last scene. Good a time as any to put sequel bait, but not so blatant sequel bait. But unfortunate you put sequel bait in this because it looks like that sequel isn't going to happen. As with all the plans you had the whole 6-movie plan you had lay out with the podcast you set up, all the inner workings you wanted to lay out and dish out for everyone to see, all the setup that was in here. None of that's going to happen apparently because apparently it turns out that Netflix is done with the rebelmoon universe or the rebelmoon duology. They're fresh out of that one, which makes me wish Zack Snyder hadn't ended this movie on a promise for another movie. I wish he didn't end it setting up another movie. They could have just had dude's funeral. Korra comes clean, and the people still acknowledge her. They still thank her for saving the village, and they still want her to be a part of the village, despite everything that's happened. That could have been good. That would have been an ending that I could be like, yeah, cool. As opposed to an ending that's setting up a third movie that's never going to come, which in itself is going to set up 3 other movies that aren't going to make it. So, meh. Well, who cares? Another Netflix movie with an incomplete ending. It's just, it is what it is at this point. That was that. No, ultimately, I don't understand the decision to split the story into 2 movies. Like, this, if anything, should have been 1 movie. And if there needed to be a part 1 and a part 2, then part 2 needed a new villain. If you were going to split this into part 2 should have been the final part of all of this. Not part 2 of 6. No, just part 2 of what's supposed to be a part 1 in a trilogy. No. There's part 1 and then part 2. Part 2 should have a different villain. That's what I thought. It wasn't clear to me until I saw that Noble was returning as his main villain in the second one that I knew what the film was doing. This part 2 wasn't the end of the rebelmoon story. These 2 stories were the end of part 1 in a franchise. That bothered me, man. It's like, if you were going to tell a complete story in these 2 parts, that's cool. Have Noble be the bad guy in the first part, and then part 2, it's Belisarius himself coming down to get Arthur. Having her be the one coming down in the second one would have raised the stakes. Because as captivating as Noble was, you do have this idea of like, hey man, he still answers to somebody. He still has a boss. He still has somebody he's afraid of. This sick, twisted motherfucker has somebody that he's afraid of. If Noble's afraid of this dude, how badass must this dude be? So yeah, you could have something like that. A step up from Darth Vader to Emperor Palpatine. That should have been it. Part 1 should have been the Darth Vader villain story, and the second one should have been Palpatine's villain story. Belisarius should have been the villain in the second one. He should have been the one fighting Korra, and the movie should have ended properly, as opposed to setting up a bunch of movies that would then end the movie properly. Like, hell no, I don't want that. Anyway, so I'm sure Zack Snyder in this wanted to make a nice, long 3 or 4 hour R-rated movie, but it was Netflix that wanted like a PG-13 cut with the shorter runtime, and instead he chose to make one long movie with 2. He just turned one long movie into 2 full-length movies. I remember he was talking about like, hey, at least this way you have these like 2 movies you can push out instead of 1, and down the line I get to do a director's cut. So really, you're getting 4 movies for the price of 2. It's like, I mean, I kind of get how someone could swindle you like that. Like, I'm not saying dude finessed Netflix or nothing. I'm just saying he did his job. He did his job really well, and he got to make the movie he wanted to make. It's a bummer that he won't get to finish it. That's all. Oh, man. And that was rebelmoon 2. Oh, yeah. rebelmoon Part 2 on Netflix. You can catch it on Netflix. The director's cut is out there. I strongly recommend that. It's the better cut. Anywho, yeah, this has been a rather interesting review here, folks, because I've been reviewing the Netflix movie rebelmoon Part 2. I was looking forward to this, by the way. I thought rebelmoon 1 was pretty good, so when I found out, like, yeah, we're going to get Part 2, I thought we are going to get a conclusion to the story, so I was looking forward to it. and it didn't quite reach what I thought it was, but it was okay. I give it a 6. Let's say a 6 out of 10. Yeah, that's what I give it. A 6 out of 10 for Rebel Moon Part 2. I've been your host. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all them nice things. Ciao. Oh, I forgot to mention there was this moment on the bridge after like right after they win, like the bad guys are blown up and the cavalry is coming and they're blowing up all the remaining starfighters and everybody's celebrating like yeah, guns in the air, like yeah, we won. We plucky farmers beat the mother world. Yeah, hey hey. The camera shows djimonhounsou and he turns around and he just looks mad. Like he looks mad. He looks furious. Like he's about to fuck some shit up. Like I don't know, like a parent who just heard a vase break and their head just slowly turns and their eyes all focus and shit like, who broke the vase or some shit. He looks pissed off. And then everyone's celebrating. They look at him and he looks furious. And a second later, he's also like, ah, but he's not like, yeah, but he's just like roaring. He's not so much cheering the celebration. He just like roars right in the camera, like, ah. Like, for a second when I was watching that, I was like, oh shit, what's wrong? What does he know? Like, everyone's celebrating thinking they won. Does he know, like, is he gonna turn around and be like, what are you all celebrating for? It's not over. They're still coming. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what? Uh, I just wanted to point that out. Dude had a real funny face on him. So that was a memorable moment in the movie. Like, it had a bunch of memorable moments, but that really stood out for me. So yeah. Yeah, not much else to say. Everybody did their parts. The movie worked. That's why I gave it like a 6. I enjoyed it. I don't have much reason to rewatch it or this version of it anyway. Yeah, next time you hear me talk about Rebel Moon, I'll be covering the director's cut, which, despite the fact that it is way longer and more so indulges Zack Snyder's tendencies, it is, I don't know, from what I've heard, it is a drastically different movie. So yeah, we'll have to see on that. I feel like I didn't do much reviewing. Not much to say about the music, except that it's very Tom Holkenberg. The action was good. It was pleasant to look at in a lot of places. There were a few moments, where there was that little bit of hazy look to it, where, it wasn't crystal clear, especially when they were fighting in the battle, in the third act when they were fighting. There was a I don't know, there was just like, it's like there was dust over the lens, but it kind of made sense because they were on a very dry, dusty desert planet, so it kind of makes sense that things looked kind of hazy. So yeah, that's about it. Have the day you deserve, and remember, folks, we are who we are. No point arguing with ourselves or anyone else about it.